So why do black people love Michael Jackson? That's a question that's brought up to African Americans. Why do we love a man who, according to the media, say that Michael disowned his race? They say he disowned his race because he has white children and because he has white skin. Even when the skin color is lighter than your average white Caucasian. But anyway, people have come to their conclusion. They automatically think he disowned his race because of those two things. It's a trip when people make assumptions and they believe it's valid. Now, check out what Bill O'Reilly said. Now, he's just curious as to why black people still love this man, regardless of his appearance and his children. Y'all check this out.
Black Americans are much more engaged in watching this stuff than white Americans, even though Michael Jackson has white children, and he chose to have white children, and the face deal I don't even want to get into. Yes, but so what's that racial thing all about?
What's it all about? Well, first off, Michael Jackson is black. Just because he didn't physically look it anymore because of vitiligo doesn't mean he disowned his race. Second, black people love Michael Jackson because of his music. He made good music for all generations and races to love and enjoy. He was a great entertainer who happens to be black. And as far as breaking racial barriers, he was the most successful at what he does. And not only did white people love him, but on a global scale, there were masses of people who loved this guy. Michael Jackson had grown men fame. Now, how many musicians you know that can do that? Now, I agree with Bill O'Reilly. He wasn't the first to break those racial barriers, but he was the first to break the barrier, which was MTV, who at a time, which everyone heard about, were not playing black musicians' videos on their station. So for that station, he did open the door for not only blacks, but for other nationalities. He made music for everyone to love. So of course, MTV, they had to put him on, and that moment is when blacks had to take advantage of that. So we love Michael for that as well. And of course, white people like Bill O'Reilly have a hard time understanding because he doesn't know what it's like to be African American. He didn't have to worry about breaking any type of racial barriers. The only barriers that Bill or any white person in America may have to face are age barriers, competing against younger people who are fresh and can bring something new to a generation that is younger and are the majority of this country. Now, we all know that Michael was very, insecure about his looks, and he was no way insecure about being black and about loving his heritage, his culture. We all heard stories about him being teased as an adolescent. He was teased about his nose, and when fans saw him, or supposedly they were his fans, when they saw him when he became older, they were making harsh statements towards his looks. So of course, that's going to have some effect during his teenage years, to where he may have gotten some face surgery. But as far as the skin color, if you look closely at Michael's pics, when he was 21 years old, you can start to see some discoloration in the skin. You can see he was at the early stages. And when the Bad album came out, he was lighter than when he came out when he did Thriller. And he did apply makeup to balance it out. But no matter no matter how light he got, he never disowned his race. Y'all check out this radio interview that he did with Steve Harvey back in 2002. Let me know if he is ashamed of being black.
And I want to say something to you special too, man, because a lot of people don't get this one to you. But I got to tell you something. You done meant something to black people, man. And don't ever think you don't and you haven't. Wow. You have really, really meant something to a lot of minorities across this country. And you remember that about your music, man. You remember that about your videos. You touch us that way. And I'm giving you something, man, just from one brother to another that the mainstream America can't give to you. But it's what you have done in representing black people.
I'm proud of my heritage.
Come on, player, say it.
I'm proud of it. I'm proud to be black. I'm honored to be black. And I just hope that one day that they will be fair and protect portraying me the way I really, really am. Just a loving, peaceful guy wanting to make wonderful, unprecedented entertainment and songs and music and film for the world.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all I want to do. I'm no threat. I just want to do that, you know?
Dig that.
Whoa, hold up, time out. Flag on the play. What did you say? Say that again, Michael.
I'm proud to be black. I'm honored to be black.
Huh. So how can you claim he disowned his race when he knows he's on a radio show that broadcasts to all listeners who hear him say that? If he did denounce his race, he wouldn't have accepted Steve Harvey's request to send some inner city kids up to Neverland. He wouldn't have made the Dangerous album that had that R&B feel to it, that majority of black people like. And keep in mind, we are not the majority of this country, so if it was about album sales, who was going to buy it? If he denounced his race, that album would never exist. He wouldn't have African American athletes, actors, models in any of his videos that he put out. He wouldn't be at the BET Awards. He wouldn't be at the NAACP Awards. He wouldn't say that the Godfather of Soul, James Brown, was his idol. He may not have liked what he saw in the mirror, but he was not ashamed of who he was and what he represented and where he came from. See, that's another reason why blacks love Michael Jackson. He never gave up on us, and we never gave up on him. Yeah, us as black people, we may have thrown some jokes at him, but hey, we make jokes at our closest friends, our relatives. But does that mean we hate them? No. We never stop loving Michael. And then you have some critics who say, well, what about the kids? Why are they white? Why he didn't have black kids? Well, let me ask you this. Are white couples who adopt black children, are they disowning their race? When black couples adopt white children, are they disowning their race? You know, it's funny when they say black people make it into a race issue. Why are you questioning Michael's motives, why he had white children? Does skin color really matter? Even if he didn't use his own sperm, let's just say if he didn't use his own sperm to birth those children, does that take away from him being a good father? There could be reasons as to why he's not the biological father. It could be something psychological. We don't know. You know, he didn't want his kids to grow up looking like him because he felt he was unattractive. Who knows? Debbie Rowe, who happens to be white, chose to be the one to have kids and give them to Michael. Michael said himself in an interview with Bashir called Living with Michael Jackson, it didn't matter who the mother was as long as the children were healthy. That's all that mattered. Race, skin color was not an objective. It's not like he said, oh, I want to have white children. He said he wanted to, you know what I'm saying? He even said he wanted to adopt 2 children from every continent. So what does having white kids have to do with it? You know, whether he wasn't or if he was the father, it didn't matter at that time because he treated those children like they were his own. But right now it does matter now because someone has to take care of them. Black people love and support Michael Jackson because he made good music, because he helped break down those barriers, because he has shown support for black people. You can't let the media dictate what they want you to believe because you can't always trust what the media say. You have to look at the stories, the interviews. You need to hear from Michael yourself and find out who's being real and who's dishing out BS. So in conclusion, I just want to say R.I.P. to Michael Jackson. The love that people have for you will outshine the hate that is thrown towards you. So let those fools, let them stay closed-minded because whether they admit it or not, they're not perfect they damn self. And they make mistakes. And they have flaws too. So middle finger to the haters, but the index finger is up to you.